you meet your 80-year-old self and she looks at you in the eye and she puts her hand on your shoulder and she says to you, like, this is like, what is the words of advice that she says to you? Like, would she be proud of you and how you've lived your life? Or would she say, if only you'd done this, if only you'd done that, like, you are brave enough, you are capable. And how do you want to live that makes your 80-year-old self proud?
Welcome to Your Reconnect, the podcast that proves that life doesn't have to end at 40, 50, or even 60, because when it comes to living your best life, age is just a number. Hi, gorgeous, and welcome back to another episode of Your Second Act. Hope you're having an amazing day and a great start to your week. Now, can I really be honest with you? Are you sick of hearing all these stories about women stepping into their second acts and thriving when you're sitting there and you're thinking, that's great, but how do I actually do this? And I know that might sound really strange coming from me because, that's what this podcast is all about. The truth is, it's really not always that easy, is it? Not everyone just knows what they want. Not everyone has that moment where it all just clicks. And if you're sitting there thinking, I know I want something to change, but I really have no idea where to start, I get it, because I was there too. That feeling of being stuck in your own head, overthinking everything, wondering if things are ever going to change, it can feel really heavy and you can start to think, is this it? But it doesn't have to be like that. And I want you to know that you're not on your own in this. I really feel like I'm here having these conversations to support you through it, because this is what lights me up, being able to help another woman realize that change is possible for her too. I also know that not everyone has the privilege of working with a coach or a mentor or just having someone guide them through this. And that's a big part of why I do this podcast. My hope is that by bringing on experts, by sharing real conversations like this, I feel like it's a little bit of a hand-holding support, something that you can take away and actually use to help you move forward. So today I wanted to bring you a conversation that feels a little bit like a coaching session on how to step into your second act. So you can walk away with hopefully one or two tools that you can actually try today. I'm joined by my gorgeous friend Maddie, an empowerment coach who helps women trust themselves, build self-love, and live more in alignment. She works closely with women in this stage of life and has such a beautiful way of helping you cut through that noise and being able to take that first step. So this episode isn't about having it all figured out. It's about getting out of your head, moving through the fear and starting small, because you too can create change. And I really believe that this conversation is going to give you that little shift, that moment where you think, maybe I can do this too. Maddie, the purpose of today's conversation is to help the woman who's listening right now. She knows she wants change, but she doesn't know where to start. And we're hearing so much about women in midlife doing something new, starting a business, stepping into different chapters. So there's something that's clearly shifting within midlife and all of us. But what I think is missing is the how. So when someone comes to you feeling like that, what do you actually begin with?
I love this. It's so true. It's like, okay, was all this noise of just like, you can do it, you can do that, like whatever, you can do whatever you want to do. But it's like, how do you get clear on what it
Yeah.
is that you want to do? Because I speak to so many women and people who are in situations in their life, like jobs, maybe it's like living situations, just maybe communities that they're not feeling fully fulfilled and they know they want a shift, but they're not really sure what it is. And I think I've felt this many times in my life before. And it's like you have this urge, but you're just not sure. And there's a couple of exercises that I love to do with my clients. And these have been powerful for myself. And that's why I do it with them. one of my favorites, and I learned this from my coach who I worked with. She's a women's leadership coach. I worked with her in LA, and it's called Ideal Scenes. And you get a big piece of paper, as big as you want, and you write in the middle, I am. And then around this, you write, I am, you write all the things you want. I am running a creative business. I am living in a beautiful home in Bronte. I am in an incredible, loving partnership. I have an amazing relationship with my children. I am earning X amount of money. I am like asking for what I want and getting a promotion. And you're saying it like you have it. And I think the reason this exercise is powerful is because, you can sit down and just write goals. And this sounds similar to this, but as you're writing it, and I notice this, it's like, how does it feel in your body when you write this goal? Like, is it it's the exercise is saying it as if you already have it. And it's like, how does that feel for you? Does this feel like your life? Does it feel like what you want for yourself and not just what you're told to want, or like what's the pressures that society puts on you, or also coming from a place of fear and actually not reaching high enough or big enough, and they don't actually feel like expansive and like exciting to you. And I do this exercise regularly, and it's like a little reset of where you're at and what you want. And I have found this one incredibly powerful because I look back on so many of these that I've written before, and so much of it has come true. And I think it's because it's not just the act of writing it down, it's then believing it, embodying it, and stepping into the identity of the person that lives like this. So I am running a creative business. I am earning this amount of money. I am getting promotion. Then writing down the action steps of like what is like, how can you then make small steps every day toward that? Like, how can you research this business idea, different people who are running this type of business, who are your ideal customers? Where do they associate? Where can you get in front of them? How can you reach them? These like next steps that make it actually a reality and make it seem really achievable. So it's not just this like big time goal that seems like a large burden that you don't know how to get. It's like breaking it down and being like, okay, I can see myself actually owning that, stepping into that, because I see all the little steps that it takes to get there.
But what happens to the woman who has no idea of what she wants? She wants the change. So do you need to have clarity before you work it out? Or is it just a process? I mean, to the woman that's listening who's saying, I know I want change, but I don't know what the hell it is that I want, but I want to be able to do something to open my mind to it. And that's where I think women become very stuck because we don't know where to start.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. It's so about, it's all emotion driven, right? When we're feeling like lack of inspiration, when we're feeling stuck, when we're feeling lack of confidence in ourselves, it's so to do with, our day-to-day life, how we're living, where we're focusing our energy. And to feel inspired, to feel creative, to feel clear, to feel like start to understand what lights you up, it's about putting yourselves in those environments. And I've got a few tips here. So these are some mindset shifts that can help make life changes easier. So identity comes from habit. So you become what you repeatedly do. So choose your habits wisely. So if you're like someone, you're like, I just want to be fit, or I want to be creative, or I want to be healthy, or I want to, be a reader or a runner, or all these things. It's like look at your life and look at your daily habits. And it doesn't have to be some huge life shift, but like you can shift your identity over time by bringing in habits, daily habits that start to embrace that and or reflect that. And so see that identity. You're like, okay, I'm a business owner. I'm a creative. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like someone who I want to start a podcast. It's like start to do little things each day that like help you identify as that. Another tip is confidence is a muscle. So the more you push your comfort zone, the easier positive changes become. So like I was saying before, is like it's so energetic. The more confident you feel, the more in your power, the more you feel inspired, the more you feel like proud of yourself. You're like, I can do this. So it's about like choosing little things every day that you want to do, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And that constantly reminds yourself, like, oh my gosh, okay, I can do this. I stick to my word and I can do this again. So it's like, it's just the muscle that you're practicing, like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone again and again. This one I think is important to like the question that you're asking, finding expanders. So expanders are people who give you a sense of what's possible. So they're doing things that inspire you. You look at them and you're like, wow, I love what they're doing, or I love how they're doing it. And I want more of that in my life. So find those people that inspire you and surround yourself with them. And expanders is incredibly powerful because they help you see, like, if they can do it, why can't you? And so that can be a really great method of inspiration and also helping you find what you're interested in, because like people doing amazing things, you're like, wow, why am I so interested in this person? Like, what are they doing? And so speaking to them, having those conversations with them, putting yourself out of your comfort zone, reaching out to someone that you wouldn't usually, and asking them out for a coffee and having a chat. And you never know how much they could open a door. And they're like, oh yeah, I started doing this because I did this and I love this. And then you're like, okay, whoa, all right, this is inspiring. This is giving me ideas. I could see myself here.
Yeah, yeah.
And the final one is like, stop comparing your timeline and where you're at, because that continues to beat you down and beat your confidence down, beat your self-worth. And you have to accept that everyone's timeline unfolds differently, and you just have to step into the changes that feel right for you. You have to just like own where you're at in your life, because it is energetic. Like when we like open Instagram, we compare ourselves and we feel shitty. That then reflects in other ways of our lives, and it actually continues to keep us stuck. So it's like creating a positive environment where we're not comparing ourselves and not making ourselves feel worse can just give us so much more opportunity to step into our power.
Yeah. It's it's funny you brought up social media because it's a bittersweet. I remember going back before, when I was thinking about doing this podcast, and it gave me inspiration looking at people doing things, but at the same time, like you said, sometimes it puts so much pressure on you because you think, why am I not doing it now? Why haven't I thought of this? Why? So it's like being able to use that as a tool as well to be inspired, but not to feel that imposter syndrome that you can't do this, and it's like, how do you move out of that? Get out of your head. And I think this is where a lot of us get into that. And then we feel like, oh, in order for me to change, I've got to blow up my life. And this is what I want the woman that's listening to this today is, you don't have to blow up your life. You just have to take a little small step. And I really liked what we started with, is just like putting it down, even if you don't know what it is, but just putting down things that bring you joy. I think this is where we forget. We forget those, what brings you joy. We're so much in the motion of everyday life, doing things, that we forget to have fun. We
Yes.
actually do.
Oh my gosh. I love this. I love this. It's so true. I think, is it Mel Robbins who speaks to this? And it's like following the spark. So it's like where in your life, noticing where, yeah, those little moments in life that you just feel like that spark of joy, that spark of like inspiration, and following that and giving yourself more of that. And whether that leads you to an idea for your business idea, or whether that just leads you to a place of feeling more joy, love, confidence, inspiration in your life, when you're coming from a place like that vibration, you're so much more likely to be able to
Mm,
expand and step into
yes,
that next chapter. But if you're kind of remaining in this like lower vibration, like unregulated nervous system, fit comparison, beating yourself up, you can't even operate from that place.
I know. I really want to touch on the nervous system regulation because I think as a society, we're all very unregulated. It probably feels like we A, don't understand it, and B, we're just so programmed to think the way we've always thought. And I think that's a really important part of shifting your mindset and opening yourself up to what is possible. So, what is your experience with your nervous system regulation?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I am certainly more of an anxious person, to the point that I don't drink coffee. And I took a long time, a long part of my life to actually realize that. Like, it wasn't until my 30s that I was like, oh my gosh, why am I making myself feel more anxious? And I'm operating at this level. Like, I worked in the sales career for 10 years and I was just like drinking coffee and operating like on a high level, like go, 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 do, socialize, work out, do all the things. And it wasn't until I got to a place where I was like, this, I actually have control over how I feel. I don't have to feel so racy, so anxious, so unregulated. So I took coffee out of my life. I also took alcohol out of my life. And I started really tapping in and understanding myself on a deeper level of like how and when my nervous system was feeling dysregulated. Was also a time where I brought meditation into my life. You know, it's so easy. You start the day and you get straight into it. You know, anyone gets up, they get their caffeine, they start the day, go, boom, let's go. What do I have to achieve? Get my to-do list going. And I found that it was just overwhelming for me. I would end up just like sitting down to do a task and feeling like so flustered and being like, oh, no, I've got to do the next thing, that I was just jumping from thing to thing and not being productive. But when I now have got into a habit of starting the day where the first thing I do is I wake myself up, but then I'll sit in meditation for 20 minutes and I'm really allowing my cortisol levels to just really naturally increase, like not increase with a bang, and just like calming my nervous system, taking big, deep breaths, starting the day in a way that's just calm. And in those meditations, in those moments of silence, I mean, far out, I am not perfect. Like, there'll be times my mind is racing. There is like often a lot of thoughts that want to come into my mind, right? Like, of course, we're all wanting to get things done and be productive.
Mm.
But when I do allow my mind to quiet and I slow down as much as I can, it's actually when my most inspiration, like my most of my ideas come to me. And I'll have so many moments where I'm like, yes, like Jeff, now that I just slowed down, this is revealing. Like, this is becoming clear of what I need to focus on today. What this feels like the most important thing, and this will move the needle. Like, or just things that come to me in a way that I don't think I would have if I just kept operating at such a higher vibration. This comes up, and the reason we need to regulate our nervous system is because in our day to day, when we are about to step in to do a big task, there's something that we want to do. We need to sit down and we need to work on this project we've been needing to do, or we've got something big we want to work on. And immediately we like start to tighten up in the chest. We start to get flustered. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to actually just get up and go to the pantry and get a snack right now.
Yes.
And I'm actually going to go make myself another coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Those moments of like procrastination, avoidance, overwhelm, anxiety, all of these things, this is all indicators of a dysregulated nervous system, but they're also coming from a place of fear. Like your body is physically trying to protect you from doing the thing that is hard to do. Like, oh, are you sure you want to record this video to put up on Instagram and put yourself up there for the world to see? And, you know, people will judge you and they will think this of you.
Yep.
And you sure you want to like start working on this business, because is this business really going to like work for you? Could fail and then you'll look stupid. And these voice in our head is talking us out of it. And we get flustered and we're like, okay, no, this doesn't feel right. I'm not going to do it. So the art of regulating our nervous system and also understanding it is like recognizing, all right, there is fear coming up. There's avoidance coming up. There's procrastination coming up. There's anxiety coming up. What is that? Why is that? Like, what is this that my body's trying to tell me? Because your body is trying to keep you safe from all of those things they fear. But ultimately, it doesn't know. Like, we can't think literally in this way. You have to think literally and be like, no, this is the hard thing. If I can do this hard thing, I'm going to feel so much better for it on the other side. So I'm going to take 5 deep breaths. I'm maybe going to go for a walk around the block. I'm going to have a big drink of water. I'm going to sit and meditate. I'm going to stretch for a bit. And then I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to face this because I can do this.
Yeah. Do you think if you don't, it's like this unresolved thing that you have that you keep pushing it away, but it keeps coming back? And because you don't want to face it, you feel like it's unresolved. So you feel like a failure and nothing, you feel like you can't achieve. And this is what I think is so scary. So understanding that there's a reason why you're doing this. And for me personally, when I did all that work and I realized what were my blocks, why was I telling myself this? What are those stories in my head? Then I was able to push through it and go, okay, that's like you said, that's just the fear is keeping you safe because it doesn't understand what's beyond what could be. And then once I allowed myself to have that freedom to just push myself, even if it was just a little bit, then I became more comfortable in being uncomfortable. And this is the thing, we don't like it. I mean, I still do it every day. I think, oh no, I don't like it. But then I don't like if I don't do something about it, I don't like being in that position. So it's like I've got no choice but to.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like recognizing and naming the fear. Okay, yeah, there's a fear of failure here. There's a fear of comparison. There's a fear of being seen. There's a fear of like trying and it not working out. And then me beating myself up even more. But like when you really look at those fears of like, okay, if I put a video up online or if I, start working on my business idea or if any of these things, ultimately, if you really look at the worst case scenario of what could happen, is it as bad as staying in the pain of not doing it day by day by day and looking back 10, 20, 30 years later being like, damn, what if?
Yeah.
Like if only I'd given it a go.
Yes.
And that's also, and we did this exercise, I love this exercise, is like your 80-year-old self, is where
Yes.
you envision like, what does your perfect life look like just on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
like really embody it, really feel it. Like what would you really be doing? How would you be serving? How would you be creating? How would you be existing in the world day by day? And you meet your 80-year-old self and she looks at you in the eye and she puts her hand on your shoulder and she says to you like, this is like, what is the words of advice that she says to you? Like, would she be proud of you and how you've lived your life? Or would she say, if only you'd done this, if only you'd done that, like you are
Yeah.
brave enough, you are capable. And how do you want to live that makes your 80-year-old self proud?
Yeah. You know, just for the lady listening, I went on Maddie's women's retreat and I had the best experience. And we actually did this exercise. And when you said, let's all close our eyes and really let's picture our 80-year-old self, speaking to our 80-year-old self, I thought, oh, how is this going to go? I mean, really? Do you know, it was insane. I actually did it. And then when we all stopped and opened our eyes and shared our reflection on what had happened, like every one of us had these empowering stories. I think an exercise like that it's so important to do that because you allow yourself to feel like if you don't do it, what are you going to say to yourself when you're 80 years old? Think about that. You can let your life pass by now because we think we have all the time in the world, right? But then what happens when you're 80? You're not going to have the energy you have now. You're not. So what are you going to say to yourself? And for me, it was like, do you know that has stayed with me, that
Mm.
exercise? It's like, okay, I want to make me proud. I want to make myself proud when I'm 80 and look back. Yes, at 55, Michelle, go you. You were doing something. But you know what? Now you've done so much more. You've evolved. You've pushed yourself. You've told yourself you can do things. And I want women to feel this because we can all do it. It's just this damn fear holding us back. And I think this is why working with coaches like yourself really helps us reframe it all. And I think it's really important. But I know that not everyone has the means to work with a coach. And this is why I love getting people like yourself onto the show to just give somebody maybe one or two tools that they could walk away with today, that they could possibly start to ignite something in their mindset that could help them. Maybe it means reading a book or listening to a podcast or whatever it is. There are tools for everyone. And I think it's, yeah, for me, I really want people to walk away with a sense of inspiration and hope.
Mm. Oh, I love what you said. I love what you said about how you just want your 80-year-old self to be proud of you. And I think that's kind of just a guidance to live by on a daily basis. It's like,
Mm,
what are the things that you're doing on a day to day basis? What kind of habits do you have? Can you look at yourself and be like, yeah, like my 80-year-old self would be proud of me for doing this?
yeah,
Like, what are the things that you're just doing? And that's the thing. It's like, it doesn't have to be these huge things like, oh my gosh, I should have been like, oh, I need to go back and study to be a surgeon or an astronaut or like something so wild. It's like, who do you just want to embody and be on a day to day basis? And like, maybe it is just a dedicated, loving mother. And maybe it is just like someone who is more creative and gives themselves space to do that. And maybe it's someone who just like prioritizes their health and their mindset and moves more or like pushes themselves more. Like maybe it's like you've always wanted to run like a half marathon or you've always wanted to like swim, a few kilometers. Like what are these things that you'll look back on and be so proud of that you can work towards? Because every time you achieve something and do something that you didn't think you could do and like pushes you out of your comfort zone, like I said before, it is building that muscle, it's building that confidence, and it makes you feel like, whoa, I am capable. And I have this mantra, and, over the past like 5 years, I've done some things like I decided to do a couple of triathlons. I did a 5K ocean swim, these things that I didn't used to think I could do. And I just decided that why not? I'm going to sign up and I'm going to see if I can do it. And you work towards it. And every time I did them and completed it, I was like, oh my God, that was so much easier than I thought it was. Like that I can do that. I can't believe I ever doubted myself for doing that. And it really helped me in so many other ways of life. It then made me realize, like, if I can push myself physically, I can push myself more mentally. I can push myself in other areas of my life. Like, I'm proving to myself that I'm capable. And I use this mantra. It's like, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. And I say
Yeah,
that to
it's a
when
great one.
the fear is coming up and it's like, oh, I don't want to do this run. I don't want to do this swim. I don't want to like work on my business right now. I don't want to like post this online. It's like, I can do hard things. Like, really,
Yeah.
in the scheme of things, it's like, it's not that bad. You've got this.
Yeah. So speaking of Mel Robbins, she's got the 5 4 3 2 1
Yeah.
theory. Just get up and go. 5 4 3 2 1. And I love her story, how, for years just couldn't get out of bed, couldn't do what she really thought she needed to do. And then one morning she just thought, okay, I've got to move. And how am I going to do it? 5 4 3 2 1. And she swears by it. And I like that because sometimes you're there, you're lying down, you're procrastinating, all of that. But I've done it where I've gone, right, I'm just going to get up. I'm going to do it now. It might be something for 5 minutes, but I did it. And that sense of achievement that made me feel so much better instead of the day passing me by going, I should have. It's the should haves, right? I hate them. I can't stand it because you feel so bad about yourself. And this is the thing. This is where we get stuck. And it's like, I should have done it, but I can't. Yeah, it's incredible how much is in our heads and how we're constantly trying to get out of our own heads.
Fully.
So I think, what I'm hearing from you is start small, start doing little things every day. If it means getting up at 5 a.m., if you've got a full day ahead where you might still have children at home or you've got a really hectic job, just get up that little bit earlier and maybe take yourself for a walk, look at the sunset, do whatever, do something for you. Because when we're in this stage of life, it's full on. We're dealing with a lot. Aging parents, growing children, careers. And then when we want to maybe make that change and think, I don't want to do this anymore, but I can't. I'm so committed to what I'm doing now. Give yourself that space because, like you said, this is where the magic happens. Meditation, clarity. So I think maybe that is a nice little step to do for yourself every day.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. And this is making me realize that we can so easily sit in the should haves like, oh, if I'd done that, like I wanted to do that today, I just didn't prioritize it. And it's like, as we were speaking about before, it's like that hard task that we avoid, that hard task that's actually going to move the needle that like we fear is like what we avoid the most. So it's like writing down the night before, like if I was to achieve one thing tomorrow, one thing that would really help me feel like I'm moving towards my goals, or I'm like pushing myself out of my comfort zone, or I'm like doing the thing that I know is going to make a difference. What is it? Like just one thing. And if you can achieve that first, or just like, of course, there's going to be a million other things to do in your day, but like that one hard thing. And the hardest part is actually sitting down to do these things. It's like that focus and that ability to discipline yourself to actually sit down and do it. And maybe it's like, okay, giving yourself, like you were saying, going for that morning walk and creating a space where you're not just like sitting down in front of a laptop and forcing yourself to do something. You're actually coming up with ideas or really thinking through it on a walk in the morning through nature, like really like allowing yourself a clearer, calmer mind. And that might be when it comes to you. So like creating space where you can tackle these tasks in a way that feels more approachable.
Mm, mm. Yeah. Allowing yourself space and getting out of your head. I think this is what I'm hearing. And it's interesting when you said sometimes it's the hardest thing to allow yourself to do when we should be wanting to do these things. It's like, yes, give me some time just to be. But it's interesting how we don't. Why? we just don't want to do it. It's crazy because that's what's going
Mhm.
to give us a sense of relief, a sense of purpose. Because there's a lot of us feeling that we have none. We're something to everyone, but who are we to ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like fear can keep us in situations that are just not serving us. And, I have a actually, yeah, a few incredible friends of mine who have become mothers recently in the past few years. And they were all working in corporate jobs. And once they had a baby, they reflected on their corporate jobs and they're like, what am I doing? Like, this is not fulfilling. Like, what am I even working for anymore? And I think, as mothers would know, that once you have a baby, like everything shifts. Like, what you really care about, like what really matters in the world shifts. And it changes your perspective of like,
Yeah.
do I really want to be working for this like tech company that's like not really helping the planet or the world or like any greater purpose for myself or other people? And they took the leap, they quit their jobs, and they're working on their own businesses, building their own businesses that are more like related to helping mothers and their babies. And they took the leap. And I guess I asked them, like, what made you do that? Like, how did you do that? And they're like, we just realized that sitting in the pain of like a corporate job and going back to it after having babies was more painful than taking this risk and
Mm.
taking a leap and pursuing these
Yeah.
ideas that they really want to, that gives them a greater fulfillment.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, sometimes obviously financially we all can't do that. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it in a different way.
Yeah,
And
totally.
and I think that's really important for the woman listening to this today who might think, well, that's great for them, but I can't leave my job. I have
Mm.
people depending on me or whatever the situation is. But I'm not
Well,
saying for a
yeah.
minute that it's an excuse, but you can say that and say, well, then I can't because of that. But that is an excuse
Yeah.
because you still can give yourself space and time to do something else.
Yeah, no, no, no. I totally get it. Of course, it's like it's very scary and it's actually very real. Like, you need to be able to support yourself and making sure, like, staying in your job as long as you need, as long as you can like build it on the side and maybe get your business to a place where it's then viable to be able to quit your job. So maybe it's like
Mm,
creating that space, making a priority, building your business, getting that to a financial place where then you're ready. I mean, for me, I was working in my sales job and knew that I was ready to get out of it. And I had studied integrative nutrition to become a health coach, and studied a lot of courses, and I'd been speaking at various retreats and events, and I was starting to get clients on the side. And I was like, wow, this feels so good. Like, this feels really right. But like, my business is not financially ready to support me, but I'm just in this job and I knew it wasn't it. I was too scared to quit though. Um, and then I got let go. And I was like, wow, thank you, universe. That was the kick
yes.
in the butt I needed. And that motivation made me just like step up. I was like, well, I have to get more clients now. And I had definitely been making excuses. Like, there was a lot of fear in going all in on my coaching business. But when that happened, I was like, I just have to now. So it's almost like knowing yourself and what you can handle. If you're someone that can like work under pressure when like shit is real, then like take the risk, take the leap, because then you'll just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Maddie, you obviously work with midlife women. What are you finding? Like, what's coming up with your clients that's stopping them? Because I want the woman listening today to realize that she's not on her own. So what
Mm.
is it? And how are they coming out of it? What are they doing to help themselves?
Yeah. And I want to say there's just like one quick fix and it's just like one
Wouldn't
easy
that be
step.
nice?
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be nice? You know, there's this woman I've been working with, and for so long, she was in a job for 10 years that was just so demanding. And she gave so much of herself to this job, working really long hours and just saying yes to every project, everything that was handed her way. Like, yes, I can handle this. Yes, just this woman that could handle it all. Meanwhile, has an 11-year-old daughter at home. She's in her mid 40s, and her husband's working full time, and she's realized over this period that she's like completely lost herself. She doesn't make time for looking after her health, her physical health, her mindset, her family. She thinks she is, but she's not actually showing up for them because she's not the best version of herself. She's like completely dedicated herself to her job. And through our work together, she has come to a place where she's been able to set boundaries, and she has been able to focus on herself more. And from the place she was in, which was like completely lacking confidence, completely feeling like low energy, just not feeling well, it was about like prioritizing, okay, how am I going to really look after myself, really feel energized physically? Like, I'm going to nourish myself really well. I'm going to make sure I'm like getting up, getting my movement in, like really getting out in the sunshine, getting good sleep. That's like the baseline, looking after your health, number one, which then ties into mindset and your mental health. It's like she started to feel so much more like positive and alive. She was able to show up for her family when they wanted to do things on weekends. She was actually like had the energy to do it with them, or she would then prioritize and take her daughter out on a evening because she wasn't at work. These things that she started to do started to like fulfill her more and lift her up. She got to a place where she built up the confidence that she actually decided to quit her job. And she was like, I'm done. This isn't serving me. This isn't for me anymore. And she didn't have another job lined up, but she had enough confidence in her ability because she knew she was capable, and she had a little bit of space in between. She got clear on what it was that she wanted to do next. And she has now working for a new company that completely respects her boundaries. She, like so much more work-life balance. She's able to show up for her family, and she's feeling so much happier just like by choosing herself in this little way, step by step by step, building up her confidence. Now she's like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I step into this job, this other job earlier? Like, I was staying unhappy in this other role because I thought that's like all I could do. Or, like if I said no, then I would lose it, my job.
Yeah.
But like, when you really think about like what's the worst thing that could happen, like would losing your job be the worst thing that could happen? Like actually losing yourself could be the worst thing that happens.
Yeah. Wow. That's so exciting for this woman.
I
I
know,
love
I
that
know.
story.
Yeah,
Choosing herself. Yes.
yeah, it's incredible. And I think this is something that I hear so much is like women have become so accustomed to give to everyone else. They're serving everyone around them, their children, their family. They're showing up in their jobs, like okay, even their friends. They give so much of themselves to everyone else. They feel selfish to choose themselves, but actually choosing yourself, prioritizing yourself, looking after yourself is the best thing you can do, because then you can show up so much better for your family, for in your job, or for yourself, to be able to feel the confidence, energy, inspiration to start the thing you want to start. So it's like it all comes back to the basics. And I think that's helpful to know, because it's not like this overwhelming thing that you need to do. It's like day by day by day, just
Yeah.
knowing each day, like we say, wake up and like choosing what can I do for myself today that will help me move towards my goals. What is it
Yeah.
that's going to move me closer to joy, move me closer to inspiration, the things that I love, and make myself feel fulfilled.
Yeah. And I think what's really important in this message, Maddie, is that It's not going to happen overnight. Hey, it might, but more than likely it's not. But if you start doing those little things every day, like you said, it's that muscle that you're working on. It's you're giving yourself something. So I think there's just a power in that. And who the hell knows what's going to come out of it? I think that is the best tool. The woman listening today, start with that. Something little every day. I think that is beautiful. And what we started with is just maybe mapping out what brings you joy, or you might have an idea of what it is you want to do. How can that become a reality? Really having that mindset of I'm going to stop and I'm going to really try and feel into it, or like you said, feel like you've got it. And what does that feel like? Allowing yourself to feel these emotions, I think, it's powerful. And I believe that surrounding yourself with people who are similar, for me, that's what made the difference. Talking to people like you, I meet so many amazing women in the gym that I go to. And it's just, I think I walk away and I go, oh, wow, yes, I like that idea. Or, yeah, I really love what she's doing. And that excitement that builds up inside of me that makes me want to take a step. So I think if you're around people energetically that are on the same wavelength, it's helpful because you don't feel like you're in it on your own.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you, like, I never thought I could be an entrepreneur. I never, ever saw myself as someone who could run my own business. I just didn't. I thought that I would always work for someone. I didn't have confidence in my professional abilities.
Mm.
And when I moved to LA when I was 25 and I started working for this woman and in sales, she had started a health food company and I worked with her, and she became my mentor. She became my, like, she was able to show me what was possible of running a business because I saw she didn't have all the answers. She didn't necessarily like have it fully dialed, but when any issue would come about, when anything she was faced with, she was like, yeah, cool, we'll work it out. Like, yeah, let's just do this. And it was scrappy and it was imperfect, but she just did it. And she didn't let fear get in the way. And that was a massive teacher for me of like, you don't have to have it all figured out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's like imperfect action every day. And that was a huge inspiration for me. I started just meeting people in my circles who were starting their own businesses. They were becoming coaches. They were pursuing creative ideas. They were consulting. And they were like, I've been working for these companies for so long. I know what to do here. I'm going to go and do it myself and just get my own clients. And I'm like, wow, all these people have this confidence in themselves to do it. Like, why can't I do it? And I really have to thank like the people that I surrounded myself with for showing me what's possible and helping me realize that, like, yeah, you don't have to have it perfect. Like, everyone's human and figuring it out. So, like,
Yeah.
you're capable of doing it.
I think the perfection mindset is what holds you back.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never have it perfect. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
you'll never start if you wait. So just, start something, feel into it, whatever it is. But nothing is perfect. And like you said, no one has it worked out.
When you realize
So,
that, it's like,
yeah,
oh my goodness. Okay, it just takes the pressure off.
it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
And
all
we're
human.
surrounded by amazing teachers in all walks of life. You'll always learn something from someone else. I'm a big believer in that. But really notice it, because I think when you do, that's when the aha moments come. And I don't know about you, but I love an aha moment
Oh
because
my
that's
God, I
what
love
keeps
it.
me going.
Same, same. And like
Yeah.
trusting that certain situations that you're put into or people that you meet along the way, you're meant to meet them. Like, there's a purpose there. And like digging a little deeper, being like, okay, wow, like this person is meant to like serve this serves a purpose in my life. Like they're here to inspire, they're here to push my edge, they're here to
Yeah.
introduce me to someone else. Like you just like remain open-minded and open to opportunities. And I think that, and like lead with curiosity, like getting curious of like asking people questions and having like these kind of conversations and following your spark of like where your energy is going. Like get curious with that. And I think that can
Yeah.
help lead you on the path to finding out what might be next for you.
Man, I love that. Okay, so this woman is going to end this conversation listening to us, and we've inspired her. What is one small thing she can do today to actually take action and not go, that was a really great conversation. I love that, but I'm just going to get on with whatever else I'm doing. I want this
Mm,
woman to do something today. What could she just do? Something tiny to help her feel that she's moving in that right direction.
mhm. I mean, this is a tool that I've found the most powerful. And I know it can seem like a lot, but journaling, like picking up my pen and paper at the end of each day, maybe it's the start of each day, but I like to do it at the end of the day to reflect. What is it that brought me joy today? What is it that inspired me today? What took away from those feelings? What didn't make me feel so good? And I think those little questions, and maybe it's you've got your own iteration of that, something that helps you reflect day by day on like what you achieved in the day or how you felt in the day, and like recognizing the things that are making you feel better and what are making you feel worse, like what's sucking your energy, what's making you feel less confident, what's making you feel like you're getting in your head and comparing, and where are there room, or where are there like signs of joy and inspiration and excitement that you can bring more of that into your life.
Yeah.
Writing it down and reflecting is such a helpful way, because the days can just go by and we just get caught up in it. But if you can like stop, reflect, and write it down, it can take you so much further. Like I think those can be those aha moments where you might not have even recognized like a certain interaction, or something that you just like watched, or something that you learned, or person you spoke to. It's like all about following that spark, and I think that can start to lead you in a way that brings so much more positivity to your life.
Yeah. That's a beautiful way to start. I love that. Awesome. Maddie, thank you so much for giving me your time to discuss this topic that I think is so important. I think it's one that a lot of us are constantly thinking about. But I love when we can just share a conversation about it. And who knows, from this conversation, something might come out of it for the person that's listening to it. So I really hope this person is going to go and get a journal. Go and buy a new journal, actually, and start today. This is the first day of the rest of your life. Go and start something. I think that is so empowering. Just the action of going and buying a new journal. How cool is that?
It's so cool. And you also don't know what could come up when you allow yourself to just write. I did not realize this, but I went back on my journal from like 2020, and I read this I read this like maybe like last year, and I had written like, I want to be a coach. And I couldn't believe that I'd written it then, because I didn't actually become a coach until 2023. And I'd planted a seed. And
Yeah.
I think you don't realize that you can plant these seeds. Like they do need time to grow, but like writing it again, like repetition, like really feeling into it. Is this what I want? Does this feel good? You might write things down like, I want this, I want that, or I would love to do this. But you might look back on that and be like, that's not my dream. That's like someone else's dream, or that's like societal pressure. Like actually, like I want this. Like it's such a good practice to express and write down like, what
Yes.
is it that you want, what lights you up, and plant the seed and allow it to grow.
Oh, I love that. Well, I end all my episodes with an inspirational quote. You've already given me a few, but do you have one that you truly love at the moment or that you live by that you'd like to share with us?
Oh my gosh. The quote that just hits me every time, it's from a poem from The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. And it goes like this. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one and wild and precious life?
Oh, yeah, beautiful. How perfect is it for this conversation? Because
I
you've
know.
only got one, right? You've only got
You've
the
only
one
got
life.
one. And
Yeah, that's a
it is
beautiful quote.
precious and it can be as wild as you like.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, gorgeous. Loved our chat.
Thank you, Mish. That was beautiful. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning into another episode of Your Second Act. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could rate and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to me.